Thank you. Late tonight, co-workers of a man killed during what may have been road rage gathered tonight to remember him. And for the first time, we are hearing from one of the true first responders in this case, one of two people who tried to save Lance Byers' life, a person who didn't even know who he was.
Lance Byers was killed yesterday morning at the corner of State and Lafayette in Grand Rapids. It happened after a small crash. Police say the killers, a man and a woman, were in an SUV and they left behind a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. Witnesses told police it looked like a random killing, road rage that escalated, but tonight police still aren't sure.
24-hour News 8's Leon Hendricks continues our coverage of this story. He is live where the murder happened and where the vigil ended. Leon?
Brian and Sue, good evening. About 150 people gathered. They walked about a mile in the cold with candles in their hands to this intersection, the scene of the murder, so close to downtown. In broad daylight it was when they say a good man was killed.
I couldn't believe it was happening. It felt almost like a dream, like it wasn't really happening.
That morning is a bit of a blur to the man who was out on business who happened to witness a murder.
At that point, I jumped out of the car and ran over towards where the guy was in the ground. I was just talking to the guy and saying, "Come on, buddy, breathe. You can do it. You can make it." I've always kind of thought that if he might be able, it might help if he thought he could make it. But I don't think anything could have helped him at that point.
He and a nurse were among the last to see Lance Byers alive. His killer disappeared into the day. But as much as society's evil seemed to play out here, its warm embrace has followed.
It's so touching. It's just amazing to me. It's amazing, and I think Grand Rapids needs something like this. We need to see that there are people that will come out and in his memory.
Hand-shielded candlesticks, many who gathered here were his co-workers. They started outside the Department of Human Services building where Byers was headed, where he worked on the second floor. And they walked, ending where his life was taken from him. Some never met the 42-year-old dad.
It just breaks our hearts to think of him growing up without a father.
Others hadn't seen him for years.
Horrible, tragic, senseless thing to happen.
It said he lived his life for her. At 2, she isn't likely to remember him. But they will, as a mystery remains who did this and why. The sentiment is similar.
Just always making laughs, making jokes, talking about his girl, talking about his family. Just a real great guy.
For those now honoring his life and the perfect stranger who tried to save it.
It's such a horrible, useless thing that happened. I mean, over a very minor accident, apparently. Something like this, we really don't want it to happen again.
In Grand Rapids, Leon Hendricks, 24-hour News 8.